fans, brews, and Broncos news. Good evening, Broncos country. Welcome to another edition of the Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS Postgame Podcast. My name's Kev Dan. I got Scott the Flagman here with me once again today. We are going to look. Bottom line, we have said for the last 9 years here that we are going to be here no matter what, win, lose, or tie, and we mean that so much that even after yesterday's horrendous loss to the LA Chargers, which I almost said San Diego there, to the LA Chargers, we're still here, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to let all the frustrations out, Scott. We're going to let it all out. We're going to get emotional. We're going to get angry. We're going to say things. We're going to curse. I want to hear it in the comments. Okay. Let's let it out because Thursday night, we got a game against the Saints and we got to move past this quickly, man. So let's talk about it. Let's break it down. I always say games like this, we're going to probably not talk for very long because there's not a lot to talk about. And then we do a lot anyway. So I'm not even going to go there. Scott, let's do this. First off, how you doing, man? How you doing tonight?
Man, I am doing well. I'm feeling it. As I've gotten older, those tailgates combined with games really wear me down. I'm always a little more energetic after a win. Actually, a lot more energetic. It's tough. It's tough, but you know what? I'm here no matter what. I'm a diehard. I'm too old to find a new team.
I mean, look at the stuff behind you. I mean, think about, first off, if you ever wanted to get rid of it, I would gladly just take it from you. Just let me know if you're ever donating. So if you wanted to change teams, you got a new home for it all. But yeah, I could see how that'd be a little troublesome for you. We got Bill in here. Dad, how you doing, man? Gary, how you doing? Keith, what's up, man? No, I did not throw my glasses in frustration. I am frustrated at the glare that I get in my glasses from the light. So
I took mine off for the same reason. Same reason.
Just wait till we get you a brighter. We're gonna get you a brighter light, Scott, and then you're gonna really see why it's like. And I was just done messing with it tonight. So that's why, Keith. Maybe I should come up with a better story. Like, yeah, they broke in a fight, anyway, with a Chargers fan. How you doing?
I sat behind one of the 40 that were in there.
I think that was probably about right. Because walking into the stadium, I had counted at about 20. Seriously, I'm not lowballing you. It was about 20 walking into the stadium.
Yeah. I asked him how it felt being in a stadium full of orange, and I said, "Well, it's the same way when you're in LA anyway, so it doesn't
matter." Does not matter. Does not matter. Okay, well, let's do this. Keep the comments and questions coming in. I know for people listening on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, when we're not live, we'll just read the comments out as we normally do. But if you do want to watch us when we do this live, Monday nights, usually around 7 p.m., just watch for the announcements, and you can check us out when we're live too. But so keep the comments rolling in, guys. We'll get to those. But Scott, let's do this as we always do. Go back. We'll rewind time a little bit. We're walking into the stadium, hyped for the game. What are some of the thoughts going through your mind, man?
Man, I'm just thinking Charger going to Charger, and that we're going to smack Herbert in the mouth really quick. And, I thought I was expecting a big offensive day. I just thought there was that they'd kind of turn the corner on how they were going to call plays and how they were going to run plays, and just disappointment more than anything. And then losing PS2 so quickly, it's almost like the team kind of just said, "Ooh, I think we're in trouble," and they just never got out of the funk. The defense, that was the worst defensive game I've seen in a long time from them.
Mm-hmm.
Not get off the field, third down, and obviously no turnovers, no real. I guess they get one turnover. No, I don't think they did.
Almost, except for a holding penalty.
Yeah. Just
nope. We got it.
We got to get better. We just we can't rely just on our defense. We've got to get them offense.
Because they're human too. And I've said that pretty much since we were like, wow, look at this defense. I've said, well, just wait because they're human. They're going to have a bad game. Something's going to happen. Right. And didn't think by any means was I going down the path of something happening in PS2 in that kind of game that early on. Yeah. I mean, that was just, when he went down, it was like, oh, well, okay, that was bad, but he got up, he's walking off, but then we saw him go in the tunnel. I was like, that's definitely not good. And then we saw the post that he's not coming back. And that was
didn't look that big of a deal. It really didn't. It did not look like this. No. It was not this major collision. It just, just the way he hit the turf. And but you felt it in the stadium. The fans were deflated.
Yep. Everything just kind of went oof, That
was early.
It was. And you think about it, like the defense, I mean, you plan around, probably your star player. You're like, hey, we're going to start with what PS2, here's what you're doing, right?
Sure.
And everything kind of goes around that. Kind of like the quarterback. You start with the quarterback and you go from there. When your main guy goes down that early in the game, your whole game plan goes out the window, right? The opposing team, not saying that anybody is wanting injuries, right? I'm sure there's some jackasses out there, but they still are going to take advantage of any opportunity they can. And so they get some momentum from that. Stadium noise, crowd gets pulled out of it, like you're saying. That's just, like I said, gut punch. There's no other way to put it. It sucked.
Yeah. It was rough. But you know what? You're professionals.
No, I agree. They are.
You got to rise up.
They're young. You're right. If this was an experienced team, if this was the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Okay. Yeah. That there would be that expectation of there's really no excuse. You have the experience, you have the depth. Yeah, that sucks. And that probably is going to, you're going to have to struggle for a little bit in the game to figure it out and make those adjustments. But you should be able, with us, we don't have that depth. We're already hurting in some other positions. And these guys are not that experienced. They're younger. So I get it. And Keith said it there too. Keith said losing PS2 should not determine the outcome. I feel it, man. Right? That's the expectation. But we should have that expectation for a team that's not 6 weeks in to their rebuild,
Yeah.
Is my only
point.
I get it.
And everybody's got to pick everybody up. Offense has got to pick it up. And, Riley Moss need to pick it up. And then the guy that kind of came in, I don't even know who took over him, but number 38, I think is what he was. And they were picking on him.
Yep.
Yep,
they sure were. I remember, maybe somebody in the chat can help me remember who that name was once whoever replaced PS2.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Paula Hutchison, one of our top fans. We got a lot of top fans. I want to give a shout out to all of our top fans. And in fact, all of our fans in general, everyone here tonight. Thank you very much. Really quickly, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, all of our other pages. Try to put out a ton of other content and videos throughout the week. We got all of our other live shows, Tuesday nights, Bourbon Broncos, No BS, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and a bunch of other stuff. So make sure you guys check it out. Give us a like, give us a follow, comment, all that stuff for the algorithm. FTA helps us out a bunch. Okay. Clayton, how you doing, man? Make sure, hit the like button and share. Anthony, how you doing as well? Roy, how you doing? McMillan, that guy. Yes. And look, again, these guys are doing well with what they have, but they're stretched really thin, I think, right now. Right.
Yeah, so, they are. I was not, I was just looking at some stats. I was surprised we got 3 sacks.
Yeah.
It just seemed like
they never
could get him down, and he always was able to just escape enough to complete that third down pass. We could not get off the field on third down. And you gotta be able to do that. And they have been. They've been really good at that this year, but not yesterday.
Yeah. No, definitely not yesterday. Yeah. Okay, let's maybe loop this into something more constrained where we're focusing on something. I want to focus on offense first. Because I think obviously a lot of people have comments about that. I'm already seeing some about Sean Payton and play calling and stuff. Obviously for the first 3 quarters of the game, just nothing could go our way. I don't know how else to really explain other than that. Every time it seemed like we did get something going, it just either a penalty or incomplete pass or something stopped it. And it was just three and out. And man, Scott, it was just frustrating, dude. I don't know what you thought, but
I tell you what, I told you before, where are the tight ends at?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't know if they're setting something up for later in the year where they're going to just roll these guys out. I don't know, but time's getting short.
Yeah.
And, when we're not getting anybody open, I mean, that should be a position on third down, those big bodies against a linebacker. And, Dulcich supposedly has his speed, and I thought Kroll was going to open it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I'm tired of seeing Atkins out there. I would have rather seen Burton in the backfield just being the fullback.
Right.
And, let's get back to some basics and let's start, getting some of our younger players involved. It shouldn't take Williams fumbling to have us try to put in our rookie running back now that he's healthy. And they finally used Vele. And all the guy does is catch balls.
Yep.
Let's get him out there. Let's get this offense going. And it just seems like there's no creativity. It's like they line up and they run the play. There's not movement. And that's the one thing, you see with Kansas City. They're constantly moving. I've been watching a little bit of this game on tonight, and even the Jets, now that they've banished their offensive coordinator to the booth, somebody else is calling the plays. There's a lot of misdirection, a lot of movement, and they're getting some wide open runs. There's some wide open passing lanes. I just don't know, if it's because he's a rookie and we don't think he can handle it. I mean, you won't know until you start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping the training wheels on is not helping us right now.
No, I completely agree. Allison says we need to trade for a tight end. I would say no.
We're not going to get it. What kind of tight end are you going to get in the trade?
Well, what cap space do we have? Remember,
that too.
All of our cap space is completely eaten up by the Russell Wilson fiasco. Okay, we have no money right now, so sorry, that's kind of out of the. We're gonna trade for anyone. It's gonna be like a second, low second string, maybe third string type of player, depth player for very cheap, right? So things like that, it doesn't make sense to do that when we're in a rebuilding year. We got to go through the draft. We've done this so many years where we're so desperate for someone in this position that we're just going to go to the free agency and pick the first guy up. And they're injury prone. They just get here and they fall flat. They don't perform, and they're here, they get paid, and they're gone. Right. And it's the same thing over. And we have to grow through the draft. So we need to keep that draft capital. We have to keep that cap space open so that in a couple years, when we do have a lot of this young talent built up through the draft, and we are very appealing to these free agents to come to, then we have the cap space to be able to say, not only do you want to come play here because of the potential we have and what you can offer to this team, but we can pay you really well too. You have to have the full thing. So you have to look at this 2 or 3 years down the road, guys.
Yeah, that Wilson contract really, really hurts. But, I like ripping off the bandage and saying, okay, We're going to eat it this year. Let our rookie and our young kids get some playing time. But I don't understand not putting them in and not. I mean, they've had Vele off, and I know he had an injury, but he's been a healthy scratch for a couple weeks now. Yep. And we've seen Kroll be able to get open. We've seen. I don't even know what's going on with Dulcich. I really don't.
I don't think he even suited up again this week.
No, he was in shorts and t-shirt, man. But his hair looked great.
Coffee scratch. No, I'm sure it did. It's probably one of the highlights of the game.
It was glowing, man.
It's glowing. Too bad his performance isn't glowing.
Yes.
Yeah, Lucas Kroll, 2 receptions on 4 targets for only 11 yards.
Yeah.
Just not getting open. You know, these guys, you know, okay, some 2 receptions here from like McLaughlin, 3 from Javonte, but their averages were only 8.5, 4.3, total under 20. So it's not like they're doing anything when they do catch the ball. You know, it's almost like you might as well just not catch the ball. You know, stop the clock. I don't know. Like it's not good. You know, but you do there have Devon Bailey at the top, 4 receptions for 78 yards. His the long was 37. Like,
you know,
wow.
You know, Horton got, you know, he at least got involved a little bit. Trey Franklin, I'm just not sure. You know, he's got 3 targets, one reception. I don't know. I maybe there's more to it with him. I don't know. I know he's got some potential. He's got some speed, but seems like he doesn't make a tough catch. That's for sure.
Well, this is where, and Allison, I want to get back to your comment about the draft here in a second. This is where, to me, you look at the Tim Patrick situation, right? Who I want to say, by the way, for those who didn't know, yesterday, Tim Patrick at one point had more total yards than the Broncos offense had at going into like the 4th quarter or something like that. He almost had as many. He had like 65. The Broncos offense had like 81. So he alone almost had as many as the Broncos. It was crazy. So good for him. I hope the Lions go and win it all this year because of him. And I don't think the Broncos are going to make it into the playoffs or much further, which leads me to Allison's comment really quickly. We can't wait for the draft. Why? Is my thing. I get it. I get it. I get we were just on a 3-game win streak, and I get 72 hours ago we were just on this high of like, oh my God, we just beat the Raiders for the first time in 8 games or 9 games, and it's just like finally we're seeing some life out of this team. We just beat some two really good teams on the road. Like, here we go, right? And then yesterday happened. So I get where we're almost, I was hearing the word playoffs out of some people's mouths, but hold on. This is a very young team, very inexperienced. We have $75 million of cap space that is not allowed to us right now that other teams do have. Okay. And we're injured in a bunch of things. We can definitely wait for the draft. Now, Allison, I will say, if through this all, because we've won some of these games we weren't supposed to, if we do slide into the playoffs, that is great. That is great experience. That is fantastic. I don't see Bo Nix pushing us further into the playoffs than Houston's quarterback did last year. I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah,
but
I would like to see some progress. So unfortunately, I think this game was kind of a step back for him. I mean, he almost looked nervous in the pocket. I mean,
he did
that first interception. He had a guy open across the field a little lower, although he had Mims too, but he just couldn't get enough on it, and he didn't throw it quick enough to where the guy was able to catch up to it. I don't know. I think we've got to, it's a combination of what we're calling and getting a little bit of rhythm out there, give him some things that's going to make that he can build upon. Get him some
Right.
8-yard passes. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Not anybody in the NFL's just the greatest show on turf doesn't exist anymore. It's all a lot of short passes. And but I don't know that we have enough playmakers after they catch the ball.
We don't.
But that's we don't know about. There's a lot of we don't know about some of these people. I don't know that we know enough about Vele yet. I mean,
is he for real? He's only played in 2 games. Is
and
he for real?
Good at both games.
But are teams going to start really paying attention to him as the Broncos' secondary primary threat? And how is he going to overcome that?
Yep.
And is that going to continue? Or is, now that teams are paying attention to him a lot more closely in game planning for him, now he's more middle of the road. I hope that's not the case, but you don't know.
Was Troutman out was he a healthy scratch or was he injured?
Yeah.
I didn't see Troutman out there at all.
He was not injured.
He didn't have any stats, so I don't know if he was out there or not. Like I said, I saw Atkins out there a little bit. Obviously, Kroll was out there. I saw him. He's a big man. I was like, okay, there's a Kroll sighting, and we just, I don't know. We don't. I guess where I see a lot of things is there's just not a lot of movement pre-snap. It's like, here's what we're doing. Now you guys figure out how to stop us. And there is not anything, no movement, no misdirection. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not saying you have to do a bunch of flea flickers, but you do need to have some movement, some jet sweeps, something that they're not, that at least makes them think. Give them some eye candy to look at, on that 6-yard pass across the middle to the tight end.
Right.
And, there's just nothing. I'm not seeing a lot of anything, no creativity. And this
you saw a lot in preseason.
Yes. I mean, he was doing a lot of, boots and low waggles. And there was a little bit of RPO going on. I don't know. It's like draw back and, he's doing the best he can. He's running. He is, it's not a good thing that I like to see with a quarterback having the most yards, and unless your name, you're the Ravens quarterback,
Lamar Jackson. Yeah.
And that can't be, you just can't do that.
No,
you got to figure out how to stretch the field just a little bit,
a little bit,
bring them up close. So, they don't have to, so that they're a little tighter. And then these guys got to figure out how to win their one-on-ones.
Yeah. Do you think, so you're talking about, and I completely agree with you here, Bo Nix looking, scared almost and nervous in the pocket. Do you think that was maybe a result of not trusting the offensive line with Parrott and Forsyth out there now?
I don't know.
Kind of like anticipating, like, I don't know.
When he's running and throwing off platform. I don't know if that's the case or not. I mean, it's great that he has that ability to run and throw off platform. It just doesn't look like he's getting back there and making decisions like he was in preseason or early in the year. And I know it's different. Regular season, you're playing some real good players. They're all good at that point.
Yeah,
but
full speed, everything counts.
You got to go to him and say, hey, you got this read and you got this read. And if it's not there, you take off and run. And at least it gives him a couple reads that he has to, work through. It just looks like he's not sure where to go.
Right.
And
part of it, I think, is maybe not so much not trusting the offensive line, but maybe also, we mentioned the wide receivers are not getting open, so he doesn't have much time in the pocket. He's feeling the pressure coming down on him. He doesn't see anyone really getting open, and now he's forcing some of these things.
Well, his strength is learning and getting rid of the ball quick. He had 2 sacks yesterday. That's not bad. You know what I mean?
No. He was only hit 5 times. So it's not like he was like what we've done to previous quarterbacks this year, with like 14, 15 QB hits, 7, 9 sacks, but
I think, it looked like he was nervous after that first interception. I agree with that, but you got to move on. You got to have a short memory and just come back and get it.
And I think some of that is gained through experience too.
Yes.
And so, here's what I'm going to say. Well, I think I can see why you and a lot of people would agree that Bo and the team maybe took a step back in this game. And it's funny, I actually saw a clip on this exact topic from 104.3 The Fan. So I'm gonna steal it from them. And Philip Lindsay, who I know is a diehard fan of the show, listens to us religiously, guys. Philip, sir, if you're listening, thank you very much for your support. It's what I tell myself to fall asleep at night. He made the point. He thinks they moved a step forward, because even in these kind of really crappy games where everything goes wrong, nothing goes your way, you can't get anything going, some of those games are the ones you can learn the most from. If you have the right leadership, if you have the right attitude, if you have the right culture. And so I think this kind of game, even 3 years ago, would have totally demolished any remnants of morale that the team would have had. And they would have been down for weeks, right? I think between this being a short week, us having the leadership of Sean Payton, I really believe in the leadership of Bo Nix from what we've seen so far. This is something they can forget and move on quickly.
Yeah, they got to rally the troops.
They have to. And that was a big point. Yeah, it was a big point in Sean Payton's post-game presser. He said, we're going to talk about it tonight, and after tonight, we're done. You're not going to ask me any more questions about this game.
Yep. Well, that is the advantage of a very, very short turnaround.
And that's what I'm saying. If we were going to have a meltdown, this was the week to do it. So we could get going, get on the road, move past it. We're not even at home again. We're on the road. Let's get there. Let's get to work. And then we can have a couple extra days off and heal some of our wounds before we get back to work.
Because we got a big game coming up after this one. But right now the focus, I guess it's 2 weeks we play the Ravens.
2 weeks.
We got the JV Panthers.
I'm glad it's not right after our bye week. Yeah. We have a warm-up game. So
yes. We got some big games coming up though. I said before, you got to win 2 of these 3 because you're going to go into 2 strong playoff teams, the Ravens and KC. And I don't by any means think KC is unbeatable. I think if the
refs call, I'm going to say it, if the refs call an even game, they are beatable. They are a very good team. They would win the vast majority of their games without the refs' help. But you can't tell me that game in and game out that the refs keep giving them these calls that always go their way. You can't tell me that their offensive line didn't have a single holding call in any of their recent Super Bowls. Even though there's tape of showing them this should have been a penalty. This should have been a penalty.
They were the leading team in holding penalties over the course of the year. And then they don't, through the playoffs, they had hardly anything and they had none in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So it's you would just they would still win these games a lot more, a lot of them, if you just let them play. Why are you anyway? So that's a topic for another day. I don't like bashing on the refs and stuff.
I don't even.
But the topic is there because
in general,
I think you said it. You said it on Sunday. At least the Patriots tried to hide it. Maybe it was you or someone else, but it was at least the Patriots tried to hide it. The Chiefs, they're not even trying to hide it. I don't know what's going on, who's paying off who, but something's going on. Anyway, I didn't want to talk about the Broncos. I needed a break from the Broncos for a second. So that was good. Let's see. Bill here. Bo had a lot of pressures that he was able to avoid by his quickness. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the one, Scott, because I know you had to get out of there just a little early, but Bo almost got sacked. And I mean, the guy had him by the back of his neck almost. And somehow he rolled out of that. It was like, oh my God. So yeah, his quickness, his poise, he did get out of those.
That is such an awesome thing that I don't think anybody really expected from him going into this whole thing.
No,
the big thing was he's smart, and he's got some wheels under him. We just got to figure out how to use some of that stuff
and train him. When to use it, when not to. When to wait just half a second longer versus not, all that stuff. I do want to say that, yes. Okay. There were only 5 QB hits and only 2 sacks. Okay. But there was still a lot of pressure on him. There were still a lot of people going through that line. Okay. Bo's quickness did get him out a lot of that.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine if we had Russell Wilson in that same exact situation? It would have been 15 sacks.
Oh,
there would have been no way.
Right into a couple sacks.
There would have been no way. Russell Wilson behind this line, we would be an 0-6 football team right now, guys.
It's tough.
James Marilat thinks we'd be 6-0, but
yeah, losing 2 right tackles to where we're down to a swing tackle over there. Who he's played a little bit, but man,
and your center, who's experienced but is a solid second stringer.
Sure.
And the center is next to, you could argue that the center is the hardest position in the game.
Well, the
quarterback is the most important.
Yep.
Center is the hardest. Especially when it comes to just mental ability. That's why they're all the smartest people on the team.
And setting up protections for sure.
Yeah.
So
at least we have Bo for that. It could have been a lot worse.
It's going to get better. I am the ultimate optimist.
Yes, for sure. Victory lap. How you doing? Yeah. Let Bo loose. I think we were talking about earlier, some of those training wheels, we just need to let them off. And kind of relax a little bit. I think we can simplify things a lot. Look, I'm going to go back to that 3rd and 10. Right. I think we were actually driving a little bit there. I think we even had 1 or 2 first downs. Right. Because I remember they were on the far side of the field going that way. It's like, but 3rd and 10. And I was like, okay, but just get this first down, get in field goal range, delay a freaking game. That's coaching. That's coaching.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing that drives fans crazy right now.
Yeah.
It just drives them crazy. I mean, crazy. we gotta have it simplified and we gotta get some creativity on this offense, because we don't have the physical strength to just say, this is what we're doing. Come on, stop us.
Right.
There's not many teams, I hate to keep harping on the Chiefs. They don't have the ability to say, this is what we're doing. Come stop us. They got so much creativity in their offense. You never know what they're doing. And they throw out so much garbage eye candy that,
the merry-go-round crap
confuses people for whatever reason. But that's the beauty of Andy Reid. And when he got hired on, I knew we were a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
I knew we were. I like vanilla, but I like a little hot fudge on my vanilla.
Mix it up a little bit, just a little bit. I was gonna say, maybe that's why they don't break the huddle until 12 seconds on the play clock, because then they're not showing it for as long a time period. Like they're going to get to the line and they're not going to do anything creative to throw you off, but you're only going to have like 5 seconds to look at it.
Sure.
Versus like 15, which would be better to be able to get to the line for Bo to look at the defense and communicate things.
Yep. Use that that supercomputer that they talked about. Let him kind of decipher what's happening, because right now I don't think that is what's happening. I agree. They're probably waiting so that if the defense got the right call, if they're out guessing or out scouting or just out scheming us, we can't do anything. We don't have the athletes right now throughout the roster to make that big a difference. But, I think I like some of our parts. I like some of the pieces we have. And it seems like it's always been like this. We just don't throw these new kids out there and let them learn. Let them make some mistakes, but also let them make some big plays. Drives me nuts.
Yep. Well, you did hear one of the other things from Sean Payton was you're going to see more of Trey Franklin. You're going to see more of Audric Estime. You're going to see more of these young guys. So even if they're not performing incredibly well, now, I will say for Trey Franklin, all the crap we gave him last week for that drop pass, rightly deserved, totally rightly deserved. However, this week he redeemed himself. Okay. Great job, Trey. That touchdown pass was fantastic.
Let's let him get some more confidence and get him.
Exactly.
I mean, he's got to get up on the route tree to where he's able to do multiple things. There's got to be some, and I don't know that it's there. There's got to be some chemistry between the receivers and that quarterback to where, both scrambling, but he is constantly looking to throw the ball no matter what. And they're coming back. They've got some scramble drill into them. And I don't know. Like I said, right now, it almost looks like they run the route. And if they're not open and Bo has to run, okay,
Yeah.
So,
maybe a little bit more from him. Yeah.
I saw somebody talk about Josh Allen, and it's fun to watch him.
Sure is. I think he's the most. I saw a stat. He is the most betted quarterback to score a touchdown every week from like the last 5 years or something like that.
Yeah,
it's something crazy. Like nobody. Yeah, he is very consistent. So,
well, I got family in Buffalo. My wife's from Buffalo, so I hear about it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. And
they're an easy team to kind of root for, just like the Lions. You kind of want
something against them.
There's teams that you can kind of say, well, if we can't win it, I wouldn't, get all pissed off if they won it or they won it, But I'll tell you what, as much as I like Shanahan, I don't particularly like the 49ers.
No, exactly.
The damn Chiefs. I mean, the last thing I want to see is those guys holding up a Lombardi again. I mean, I just don't do it. I'm getting too
enough
old
is
to
enough.
watch that crap. I mean, those Kansas City fans were bad when they couldn't win. I mean, they were awful. And now that they can win, they're insufferable. They're the most obnoxious fans that you can ever meet. Now, at the stadium, I'm sure they're better because, I'll tell you, I've been to Kansas City 3 times. I've had 3 really good experiences.
Good.
But most of it's been in the parking lot. It hasn't been in the stadium. But in the parking lot, all the people that I've been around in there have been gracious and kind. And even when we didn't buy enough beer for our first tailgate out there, we were able to borrow some beer, and that was cool.
For sure,
it gave
man.
Me a nice perspective. Bring more beer next time.
Right, exactly. Lessons learned. Victory lap. Yeah, I went on a little rant about this a little bit ago. I think right before you joined. Chiefs plus refs are always hard to beat. Completely agreed. Allison, I'm tired of seeing the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Everybody except for the Kansas City Chiefs are tired of seeing the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl. So just no three-peat this year. I don't care what else happens. I don't care what. I just anybody else, not the Raiders and not the Chiefs. Okay, those are my two requests. Okay, you have 29 other teams to pick from.
I don't think we have to worry about the Raiders.
I just want to make sure I'm throwing that out there to the universe, because if I say anybody but the Chiefs, the universe is going to say, okay, how about the Raiders? And I'll be like, not that. No.
Yeah.
I take it back. You see those videos of like people making a wish to the genie and they grant the wish, but
Right. Well, I told you when Bailey was born, what the first thing she saw when she came out was them Patrick Mahomes holding the Super Bowl trophy, and she kind of expressed her displeasure by pooping all over the doctor. And I'll tell you what, it's a beautiful thing.
That first one,
that kid is going to carry on some tradition in my family.
Oh, I can tell already. Not only just her name, Bailey, but just seeing her get-ups every tailgate, and like she's already cheering. Like she's the next generation of flag people.
Yes,
the flag
makes
family.
It worthwhile. That flag girl,
yes,
is what makes it worthwhile.
For sure. Oh man. Let's see. Gary says, Kev Dan bought a pair of KC boxers just to leave a skid mark. No, I did not. Kansas City barbecue is great. That's the only thing great about Kansas City.
Oh, buddy, I'll tell you what, you ever in Kansas City, you better go get some great. Geez Louise, who is it? That's terrible. It's terrible getting senile.
Getting old.
Maybe it's the one.
Nah, you're good.
What?
I know there's a ton of great places. I've been once, and it was just like everywhere you saw, people were like, "Go over here, go there, go there, go there, go there." I mean, it just no end of
Kansas City.
Yeah, only good part. And we'll get to talk about a lot of them coming up before too long. So get ready for it, guys.
Yes.
Scott, is there really anything else to say about the defense? Like, look, they had a bad week. Their top player, their strongest player by far, went down at the very beginning of the game. That threw them for a loop. They're a young team, like we talked about, that the expectation is they should be able to overcome that, but they are just not there yet. Is there really anything else to say about this, what we saw?
I guess I was disappointed they just weren't able to make the plays on third down.
Yeah.
And it just, that was the most frustrating thing. And when I thought that they were getting to Herbert, he just moved up just enough to make those plays. But I'm excited. I think we got the start of a really, really, really dominant defensive line. Yeah. I really like some of our guys that we've got. I mean, Cooper has been great, and
Allen, Franklin Myers,
and we don't even have Browning yet.
Bonito, Jones.
Yeah, Bonito.
We don't have Browning yet. Singleton is out. Sternad's has stepped up.
Becoming a star. He really is.
By far. You hear his name multiple times every week for good things.
Brandon Jones. Is that not a really, 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 really great addition?
Yeah, he really is. And you still have the conversation of what do you do with Damari Mathis when he comes back? I mean, Riley Moss, if you ask me, has shored up that position for himself.
Oh yeah, you got it. Mathis needs to be a backup. Boy, we could have used him this week. At least he could have.
Oh God, yeah.
He would have been a better addition than what we had out there.
But so you see, we're beat up on the defense. So we lose somebody, not just like Pat Surtain, but Pat Surtain plus all these other injuries. that was just, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back, man.
Okay. Hey, Jack Stack. Now, why I couldn't remember Jack Stack Barbecue? Because they are a legend in Kansas City. And let me tell you, well worth the trip.
Not paid for any advertising, guys. This is a legit call out.
I do like some Jack Stack, man.
I love it.
They are holy moly. It was
maybe we can get them to sponsor us for the Kansas City week.
I ever ate at in Kansas City, and I don't think I've tried another one.
There you go. Love it. Let's wrap up the show this way, Scott. Because it is a short week, and again, I want everybody listening right now, whether we're live or on the podcast, whatever, we got to move on. Thursday is right around the corner. Team is flying out Wednesday, so less than 48 hours from now. They basically watch tape today. They are practicing tomorrow, flying out Wednesday after a short morning practice, and it's game day Thursday. So, boom. With that being said, Scott, what are your just initial, okay, moving on, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, I think we got to simplify the offense. They need to simplify it, all the while diversifying it. I mean, you don't want it to get so complicated that he can handle it or people don't know what the hell they're doing, but you got to make it a little bit of some eye candy that allows your team to get some open looks. I mean, there's a lot of they were doing a lot of screenplays in the preseason. I don't think I've seen a screenplay. It's just
right.
And if anybody, I bought milk today, and I swear it had to be Greg Dulcich on the cover saying, so if you can find us a tight end, I mean, we got to figure that one out
for sure.
I will tell you, I got a big day planned on Thursday. I'm taking little Bailey to the corn stalks and pumpkin patches, and then they opened up an Anchor bar up here in Loveland. So I got to do some wings while I watch my team destroy the Saints. I want to be like a hurricane going through New Orleans.
Right.
And I think we have a huge opportunity to do that.
For sure.
Okay, that's why I haven't seen the screen, because Williams didn't see it either. He dropped it.
Right.
I do remember that.
But we didn't see it because it didn't work. They have been few
hasn't
compared to what we saw in preseason. Jimmy, thanks for sticking with us. I meant to say this earlier because I saw your comment, and I wanted to save it for this part here because it's exactly kind of what I'm going to say in terms of what I want to think of, moving on to this next week. We got to let him throw the ball down the field more. Okay. I know Victory Lap was talking about Bo's inaccuracies have been surprising. Yeah, to a degree. But also that was the 6th game. We don't really have any playmakers. It can get better on both sides, both the receiver and the quarterback. We can all clean things up, but some of that is timing. That is just building a relationship, the repertoire with that receiver to just kind of know them. And that just takes time and experience, right? But we got to let him do that to get those game time reps. Running game's not working. They've got to find, and like you're saying, Scott, those misdirection plays as well. You can hide or at least confuse the defense with what you're doing without overly complicating the offense. You can have a simplistic play and just use some pre-snap motion to throw the defense off. So that's where I'm like, hey, Sean, you're seeing all this pre-snap motion, but it doesn't mean you have to give anything up of yours. You can still do what you're doing, just add a little bit pre-snap that shouldn't affect the play in general, right? So we'll see more of that. Javonte just not the same players as injury. I'm not ready to call him a bust yet or anything like that, but yeah, I want to see more of that. I'm gonna run through you. When you hit me, I'm gonna get 5 more yards. If you hit me in the line of scrimmage, I'm getting 5 yards. If you hit me 10 yards down the field, I'm getting 15 yards.
Yeah, his explosiveness is definitely missing.
Right. And they have to execute better on the plays. that they've been running, catching, a lot of drops. Okay. A lot of execution problems, penalties at very bad times. So you just got to clean some of those things up. Right. So Jimmy, that's why I saved your comment. I didn't skip over you, man. I appreciate you tuning in and watching the whole thing for sure, man. Is a great comment that I was like, this is perfect for the end of the show question I was going to have. I know Roy's been here the whole time too. They have corn mazes here as well in South Dakota. It's good. All South Dakota. That's a good place. Where you at up there, man? Let's see. Welcome to the show before, by the way, if you've been here, I can't remember if you've been here. I know Victory Lap is new as well. So we got a lot of new people here tonight. Thank you guys. I think it's time for us to wrap up. So, Scott, we'll just do some closing thoughts before we do, guys. Once again, don't forget Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, every Tuesday night is our main show of Bourbon Broncos, no BS. We got the full crew there. Going to be breaking down the little bit more of this game just for a little bit, and then definitely moving on to this next week's game against the Saints. Good old Sean Payton's team there, or old team there. So we'll see how that goes. A little homecoming for him.
I'm hoping there's a little bit of I'm going to get you. I mean, I truly think they planned Drew Brees's his honor into the Ring of Honor that night for a reason. But I tell you what, I think we have a huge opportunity here to make a statement. I know they're not the same team they were with Derek Carr.
For sure.
And but they could be dangerous. I don't know.
They could.
Rattler looked pretty good for the first 2 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was just the one quarter.
Just the one.
Between 3 really crappy quarters.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Their defense obviously gave up a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we can
exploit
take
that
advantage of that. So
get feeling good again.
For sure.
Let's see. Because of the short week, guys, we're going to be doing the post-game podcast on Friday night, not Monday. So if you're expecting this on Monday next week, don't, because we're not going to be doing it on Monday. It'll already be up by Monday. So you can listen to it on Monday, just not live. But we will be doing it Friday night if you want to tune in live, right about the same time, 7 p.m. or so Mountain Time. It's Thursday, though, we'll be doing our same pregame and everything, the shows that we do. The live tailgate talk starts 1 hour before kickoff. I think kickoff is at 6 p.m., Scott, maybe?
Sure.
Let me find out here. Yes, 6:15. 6:15.
I used to know all this stuff.
I was like, I thought it was 6, but now I'm doubting myself. 6:15 p.m. is kickoff. So tailgate talk will start live at 5:15 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll break down the inactives and any other last-minute conversation topics before the game starts, and then we'll be going on into the game, followed by the halftime hash. We are the original home, or the home of the original halftime hash show. Make sure you check this out as soon as halftime starts. I know what you do. I know what everybody does when it's halftime. You grab your phone. Don't lie. You grab your phone. Okay, well, you drink and then you grab your phone.
Okay, right? Yeah, that's what I meant.
There it is. You take your drink.
I'm just making sure that I'm not going to miss anything.
Exactly.
I pour my beer.
That's fair.
And if I'm in South Dakota, I put a couple olives in there. It's a Dakota martini.
I love it, man. That's a good way to do it. And you guys are putting the time in there for me. You guys are great. I appreciate you guys. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. Like, seriously, thank you guys. You got my back. My fans got my back. Like, who else can say that? Like, how many people say my fans? They got me.
I get your back sometimes.
Sometimes. You don't have to hit it so hard, but I do appreciate you having it.
You know what? I got to keep you around. You do really make my life easy when I'm setting up flags.
I try. Try not to get in the way or make things worse. Let's see. We also got good old Breckenridge Distillery, guys. If you want any of the Broncos championship blend, they got some great stuff. They also got their vodka as well, Broncos vodka. So make sure you check them out.
I got to get me some vodka. I do got to get me some vodka.
It is good.
I got plenty of the whiskey. I need to get some vodka though, because I'm a vodka guy. So
I used to
just haven't found
not mind it,
yet.
and now it's very rare because vodka beat me up really bad once.
Oh, man.
Roy, yeah, thank you for tuning in. Hey, we could only do this show if we had the fans, honestly. Otherwise, it'd just be Scott and I talking to myself, and I don't know. Eventually, I might think I'm talking to myself.
We do that the whole tailgate. Just talk.
Well, just in general,
you know.
So, well, Scott, any other closing thoughts before we head out?
You know what? I'm just saying that I'm not deterred in the least. I'm very positive. And you know what? I just want to see the team continue to grow and get better. And I want to see some progress. This is not, the year I thought we were going to be great. I mean, we got a brand new rookie quarterback.
And we're 3-3.
It's, it's going to be okay. And at the end of the day, it's just football anyway. But, it's always nicer. Life is always more beautiful when your team is tearing it up. So sure. I'm moving forward with that, but I am the most positive individual ever. I always say we're going to make the playoffs. I always think we're going to move into the Super Bowl conversation. I love the fact that we drafted Bo Nix, and I think we got a bunch of gems later in the rounds. And I'm not a huge George fan, but I think he does. That is his value, is those later rounds.
Yeah.
Now it's time to see some of these kids grow and continue to get better. But I'm excited. I am excited.
Yeah. Look, I will say that, even though I'm sitting here saying I don't think we're a playoff team, that doesn't mean that probably 20 times every day I run through various scenarios on how we could make the playoffs. Okay. Like, don't get me wrong here. Okay. I'm screaming at the TV and I'm screaming at the team from the 500s just as loud as anyone else, fully expecting that they can hear me and everything that I'm saying. So I am right there with you. It's like trying to be realistic. And it's like, I just don't see it yet. But again, if they made it that far, that'd be great because that'd be just fantastic experience for them. But I don't want to put, I don't want to get overly excited until 2 or 3 years from now where it's like, okay, now we can seriously start focusing on that and having that expectation for the team. But they're close. We are on our right path. We're building that culture that we haven't seen for 7 years, after
learning how to win and continue to
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, this is a losing team, and it's like, oh, we lost again. Oh, we lost again. Oh, we lost again. It's like, oh, this is just going to be another one of those seasons. When you're like, 0-4 at the beginning of the season, it's like you're basically out of the playoffs. It's demoralizing. And when it's that year in and year out, and your turnover is crazy, it's just a horrible organization to be with. Love my Broncos, but they were doing everything terribly for all those years. And now we finally have some people in place that are here committed for the long term. Ownership, starting with them, fantastic job so far. I'd give them A+ all the way down. George has the Russell Wilson mark on his record. Okay, he's on a short string, but kind
of like those Kansas City underwear.
Exactly. But he's still here. He still has the ability. Let's, we've seen his draft picks and stuff, and let's see what he does. I know he's working with Sean Payton and stuff, but we got Sean Payton here. We got Bo Nix. We're on a good path, getting that culture back up. Let's just be patient. Again, remember, we could be 1-5 right now. And the NFL would be like, yeah, that's what was expected. The fact we're 3-3 has the entire NFL like, what the hell do we do with these guys? Where do we put them on the power rankings,
Yeah.
So with 11 games remaining, we only have to win 6 of the 11 to have a winning record. To me, that would be enormous.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So I want to start with that. But anyway, Scott, man, thank you very much for being here. Great inputs as always, guys. We got the Saints on Thursday night. We got Bourbon Broncos and OBS 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Be there or be square. I think I don't know what the kids are saying nowadays, so that's what I say. but we'll end it as look, guys, we'll end it as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos. Take care, guys.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.